Field Marabella.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My comments will be dedicated for Freeholder Sullivan tonight. I appreciate your service, Freeholder, to this county for almost 19 years. Finally, Estrada gets to be the senior Freeholder from Elizabeth. So, Danny, I appreciate, chairman 3 times. You were the first chairman when I came on the board, and it seemed like you were either chairman or vice chairman forever in those early years of mine, and your leadership has been fantastic on this board and for this county. You leave such a legacy of achievement. I'm sure we'll have a chance to properly honor you. This kind of came fast and furious to some of us, and, particularly in the area of open space. You've been a leader in that, and the work we've been able to do in our parks and all the rest of the areas. You certainly have left this county much better than you found it. I want to thank you for your tireless effort, and particularly your friendship. Thanks.
Thank you. Fielder Burke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Having the distinction of being the newest freeholder, and having had the honor to sit next to the most senior freeholder, I want to thank you for your assistance and guidance in helping me learn the ropes in my first almost year here at the board. I'm sorry to see you go. I have looked forward to spending more time learning from you, but you're only a phone call away, so you may yet hear from me again. It's truly incredible, 19 years of public service to this county. You should be commended for that, and I thank you on behalf of the voters and the citizens of Union County for what you've given to this county. And I'm going to continue to give, because you're not going very far. Thank you.
I also want to thank Freeholder Sullivan for his years of service to the county, many years of service, his leadership on this board. It was very difficult to make some of the tough decisions that he's taken leadership on, decisions where you make no one happy, or decisions where different persons from the public with competing interests will probably both be managing, will all be managing. And his ability to make those decisions despite that is definitely something to learn from, and I appreciate his leadership and his model here. I thank you as a freeholder, and I also thank you as a resident.
I wanted to join the rest of the board in thanking Freeholder Sullivan for his work for Union County over the past almost 2 decades. It has been a pleasure to serve with you. I'm somewhat disappointed that the Roseau Catholic Caucus is now diminished by 1, but such is life. But we are very proud of the work you've done, and we're also very happy that both the utilities authorities and the improvement authorities are going to be under your leadership, and this is a good positive step towards seeing what efficiencies can be gained by bringing those 2 organizations together and really raising them to the next level to better serve Union County residents. So it's a very good positive step, and having worked with Dan in the Motor Vehicle Commission, I know Freeholder Estrada would say the same, and having Mr. Viola, Dan is an excellent administrator, and it's going to be a very tough job to get both of those organizations, marching to the same drum, and I couldn't think of a better person to lead that charge. So it's a positive first step, the steps that those 2 organizations are taking, and I know we have a process that we're underway and looking at finding efficiencies and moving those organizations together, but I couldn't think of a better person to do the job. So congratulations to you, sir, on that, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Freeholder Estrada.
I thought I was going to be left out. It's interesting. I'm sure most of the people in the audience don't know necessarily our history about that I had with Dan Sullivan over the years. My first encounter with Dan is that I ran in a team against Dan's team for the Board of Education. Now, there were 3 positions, and he was successful to win the election as well as I did, so we were able both to serve in the Elizabeth Board of Education for a few terms. But it's interesting, I've known Dan for many, many years in the city of Elizabeth, and one thing that I do know is that Dan is a man who will tell you exactly as he feels and very upfront about his issues that may arise. Over the years, I've always reached out to Dan, and he has to me, whether we have had many differences of opinions on issues, but the reality is that he's sat here over all these years with the purpose of serving Union County. There is no doubt that none of us here have all different ideas about what we want to see. And that's why, for example, and let me just clear for this lady's comments this evening, that it's not that we all think alike, it's that we all look at the interest of the county business that needs to get accomplished. And there may be differences, and I will talk to you about some of my differences in many of the things that I voted against. But the reality is that every board member here sits who has only one thing as the priority, to do the best for our overall residents. I know you can stand there and say, well, we spend too much money or this or that, we're not conscious of this, but in reality we are. But going back to Dan. Dan, after so many years of service here, you're going to be missed. But you know, I see it as a win-win situation because we have been talking for almost a year about the potential of joining two different authorities that are key to the function of this county. And what a better person to do this. One, the winners are the people, as well as the county. Now, I know that could always be Monday morning quarterbacks and what have you, but the reality is that we have an opportunity, an individual who's extremely knowledgeable of how the county works, who I know does not have any hidden agendas as to what he wants to accomplish. And I know you're going to be watching for the interest. You know the importance. You know the financial side of the county. Nobody here is a fool. Nobody here is not aware of where we are financially, where the country is financially, where all the different challenges that we have ahead. But I know that you'll make sure that Union County is taken care of. Now, our history goes back to motor vehicles. We worked in motor vehicles, which made, during that time frame, at the time you were chair, or not chair, over there it's called something different, you were director of customer services, revolutionized motor vehicles. You know, it's amazing. People here probably don't realize it, but Dan Sullivan was the man who stopped the bottleneck in Eatontown, well, no, not Eatontown, in Wayne, where people used to go and spend 20, 30, and even more hours to try to get a license in this state of New Jersey. A man who changed many of the procedures that today, you know, of course, things change, but we, in essence, a team, because Hudak was part of it, I was part of it, and there was 43 other people throughout the state, which Dan led to bring and implement changes to a customer-oriented organization. I mean that sincerely. When I interviewed for this job, one of the first questions the lady asked me, it was Diane LeGrady at the time, she says, all I want to know how much customer service you've had. I said, well, I've worked for an airline for 20 years. I know I started doing claims. I started when it's probably the worst department, which is baggage service. Eastern Airlines at the time had probably one of the worst records in handling baggage. We usually got there the day after. But the reality is that when it comes to experiences, Dan Sullivan has it. Dan, I wish you the best. You know you have friends that will help you, and I know that you will do the best for our residents and our county. So it's a win-win situation. Congratulations to you. I'm supposed to be roasting you, but I'm not going to do that. Thanks again for all the memories.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Madam Chair, for this opportunity to publicly congratulate Dan. I can't even describe it. It's really been, it's been a great pleasure serving, I guess, a little more than half your tenure. I've always enjoyed it. Needless to say, the couple of years that you were chair, I enjoyed a little more than regular. Always provided some interesting situations. In all honesty, your enthusiasm and dedication throughout that time has always been an inspiration to me. And your 19 years of service that everybody has mentioned, we're still counting, and I'm sure there are going to be, I know there are going to be many more, and I look forward to working with you in different capacity, but obviously your service. I want to congratulate you.
Okay, now